Welcome to solverfy.
For this question, we are looking at the causes for genetic variation in organisms. So to start this, we can start looking at the reproductive nature of organisms. They can either reproduce by sexual reproduction or asexual reproduction. Asexual just meaning without sex or two organisms. So asexual will occur with one organism, whereas sexual reproduction requires two organisms. So if we consider the DNA transfer, or the heritable information, which we call genetics, between the two, an asexual individual is only going to transfer their own DNA to their offspring. So here, there's going to be no variation introduced with asexual reproduction. In sexual reproduction, you have two organisms coming together with two halves of DNA. And they're going to meet together to make a whole. So the offspring created from sexual reproduction will have half of the DNA from the female and half of the DNA from the male individual. So this will allow some variation from parent to child. The other important quality to variation are going to be the changes in each strand of DNA as well. So here, if we imagine that we pass the same DNA from one individual to another, you're going to have very similar DNA between many different generations of the same organism. So here, we're looking at changing the DNA itself, and that is going to be conducted with what we call a mutation, which is going to be a random change in the coding of the DNA. So when the coding inside DNA gets thrown off, it's going to cause a change in proteins inside of the cell. And that can lead to different types of adaptations in an organism. It can either be a physical change, a behavioral change, or any sort of advantage or disadvantage the organism gets. So here, if the organism survives, there's more likelihood of those changed DNA sequences being passed on to future offsprings. And that's going to allow for speciation, or variation between organisms. So here, genetic variation is going to rely on the fact that mutation is going to change the very structure and coding sequence of DNA. And also that sexual reproduction is going to allow for variability between the parent and the offspring, and allows for new mixes of DNA to come together and provide more basis for adaptations and natural selection. So here you should pick answer choice A.